Being a creative is both a blessing and a curse. I'm convinced that creatives aren't wired like other people. One thing I do believe is that we're all creatives in our own right, but we're not all tapped into the fact that we're creatives. And once you tap into the fact, there's no turning back. It's like the rewire is set in place, and things don't seem to work the way they used to before. I was working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 12 hours in the night, nonstop. And when I realized that just wasn't my dream anymore, I couldn't bring myself to do it back in the way I was doing it. It's like opening a can of worms. Things are fine, and you're able to do things. And once you open that can, you can't close it. You have the information, and it's kind of like you're forever changed from there. The thing is, when the can first opens, you don't know what the can is. Some people are blessed to know that, oh yeah, I know what this can is, I'm a creative. The rest of us are wondering, what the hell did I just open? Why do things feel so different? Why can't I live my life the way I was living it before? Whether I was unsatisfied and able to, get by life, but now I'm unsatisfied and I can't stay here anymore. I've got to do something about it because the can has been opened and I don't know what the hell it is, but I can't close it back. Which I feel like leads us to go through a series of obstacles to figure out what can we opened, because why do we feel like this? My obstacles were many, and they seem to occur the big end of it over a span of 2 years, the hard ones. If you've thought life to be one thing, you begin to question, if this is what I thought life was supposed to be, why don't I feel fulfilled? Is there a life outside of what I know that will bring fulfillment? And then your tight hand and grip on how the world should be and what life should look like slowly, very slowly, begins to loosen just a little bit, to open your eyes to what else life could look like. And you begin to ask yourself questions that just seem kind of insane and wild in the moment, but are actually pretty normal questions to some. Like, what actually brings me happiness? Where do I find my day-to-day joy? Am I living for myself or am I living for others? Just, simple questions to figure out where your head is at the moment. And that's when you tend to begin searching for answers. What really does bring me joy? In my journey, I found it helpful to do a lot of experimenting because I wasn't doing much before. I wasn't too sure what actually brought me joy at that point because I felt like all the joy had been drained from me. So I began on another journey to see what brought me joy. And that's when I began to meet people and community and hear other people's stories. Sometimes you might not even know why you're going to these places. You just know that it feels right. That the people you're speaking with, they feel similar. About a year ago when I graduated grad school, I was hosting an early morning sunrise yoga. A good friend of mine taught it and I just hosted. And after class, one of my friends had invited their friend. So I went over to talk to their friend and I was sharing part of my journey and they were sharing theirs. And I was expressing how I had no idea what the next step was. I just knew I couldn't live life the way I was living it before. And they asked me to write down what comes naturally to me. They told me to flip through my old journals if I kept journals, which I do, and find the theme that resonates, the theme that seems to keep popping up. What can I do and lose track of time? What have I done my whole life seamlessly? What just comes as second nature? So much second nature that you wouldn't even give it a thought as being anything because you would think that everybody else has it because of how second nature it was to me or to you. And when it begins to click that you're creative, that your job, your purpose in this world is to create, I can't promise you that that transition will be easy. That denying your natural instincts and years of being told what to do and what life is supposed to look like and to live within the molds of something, I can't tell you that forging your own path and finding your own way will be easy because it's new. It's nuanced, it's novel, it's new, it looks different for everyone. And most of all, it's a journey. There's no book, there's no set of rules, there's no corporate ladder, there is no box or mold. It's whatever you choose it to be. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's whatever you choose it to be. And it can be anything. But what I will tell you is that it'll be worthwhile. It'll be worth your time, worth your fulfillment, worth your satisfaction, worth your purpose. It'll be worth the joy it brings to your life and the people around you. And someone else can live out their purpose, can be them, can show up into spaces because you decided that you were going to show up into those spaces that you were supposed to be at. And no matter how long you try to run from it, to hide from it, to go back to what you know, to what you think is security and stability, you will always feel that nagging. And I hope one day you'll find your peace to listen to it.